At season's end, many drivers can look back fondly on a battle hard fought while taking a moment to learn from their mistakes, reflect on their toughest competition, and look toward improving for another season. In 2017, the toughest battles, however, weren't always fought between competitors on the track, but between promoters and Mother Nature. The business may be cutthroat, but it's the passion for the sport of those who dole out the dollars to put these machines center stage that keeps the fans returning to buy another t-shirt. Though there is a background in the mud, gray skies are hardly a welcome sight. While rain proved to be the great decider in 2017, monster attrition was the great equalizer. The grind of fair season when you work for a monster truck team is second to none. But make it here, and you just may guarantee yourself a shot in the spotlight come first quarter. Now, for those keeping score, our first episode of Monster Power was in Brookville, Pennsylvania, but prior to that, we made a 15.5-hour pilgrimage down to Sparta, Missouri, about an hour and a half from the Oklahoma-Missouri border to watch Alan Fenstermaker's incredible 1979 Dentside Stage 1 Ford called Earthquake take on a 20-car pyramid. This was in preparation for a world record attempt that he will make in 2018. His high hopes for that there. Now you may have noticed that ground cam, it's at this point that the stack on the right started to shift and the truck started to drift off to that right-hand side. Fenstermaker taking a moment to try to negotiate his way up and over the top of the peak and down the other side. Fenstermaker did a lot of work to re-prep the inside and outside of this truck for this unique stunt. We will hopefully be seeing a lot more of Earthquake in 2018 as Fenstermaker comes down the other side. You see all the bracing he put in these things? That's what kept that stack from tipping over, and it was a good thing he did it. Alan Fenstermaker, successful run right there in the back lot of his former shop in the Earthquake Ford. We talked about Brookville, Pennsylvania. That's where we went next. May 27th, to be exact, was the beginning of the Monster Power season officially, and it was again Vaters Motorsports that kicked things off with us. And Mike Vaters and Overkill Evolution out of Williamsport, Maryland, started his summer of dominance right here in Brookville. Final huge leap to take the wheelie competition victory. He would take that momentum on into racing where he would match up in the final round with Matt Cody and the Iron Warrior. This was a familiar sight in 2017. Across the center line, some real squirrely racing in Brookville, but a very, very fast final round. That one went to Mike Vaters and Overkill Evolution, winning that battle of errors. Nothing against them, but it definitely wasn't pretty. Mike Vaters coming out to the cheers of the crowd. That was 2 of 3 competitions. Up next would be Freestyle, where we would get a look at Preston Perez in his first shot in the higher education pool bus. Matt Cody, and of course Mike Vaters Sr. driving the old Black Stallion Ford out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Unfortunately for Preston Perez, a drop drive shaft ended his shot at the freestyle competition, which at this point was being led by Matt Cody and the Iron Warrior. So Mikey, Overkill knew he was going to have to throw one down if he wanted to sweep this competition.
There you go.
Trademark slide to a stop, and right there with that run, he swept show number 1 of the outdoor run of 2017, and that dominance would continue for the rest of the year. Now, if the clouds overhead had offered us any refuge from the heat, an afternoon spent setting up in a very hot Radford, Virginia would be rewarded with one of the best shows of the season. But the big story to start things off was Roy Bridget and Ice Cream Man taking the win in the wheelie competition. Roy and a couple other drivers were not happy about some other trucks coming out and taking some extra hits, so Roy said, if they're going to do it, I'm going to do it. Took his frustration out on the track, and it paid off for him. Roy Bridgen in the Ram Custom Ice Cream Man Ice Cream truck taking the wheelie victory back to Deltona, Florida. That certainly wasn't the last we'd hear from Ram Trucks that night. The Ram Trucks Division Raminator, driven by Jeremy Dishman, would lay down a rather conservative qualifying run, but it would be in his favor as he would take the fastest time at a 19:34. The good times would be short-lived, however, when the dust and the corners got the best of him in round number 1. That would allow Brandon Darrow in Bad News Travels Fast to parlay a couple more victories into a final round berth against Vinny, Venom, and Snakebite. Hard drive into the final leg and a very convincing victory for the Colorado Snake. Vinny's last season at the wheel of Snakebite has been a very competitive one, and he did not expect to let that go here in Radford, Virginia. He would take that momentum right on into a very, very competitive freestyle, but before that, there was this storm of weather. This was only supposed to be an exhibition, but Wesley Smoke and the Warhorse decided to take on the bus jump, and it did not end well for him. Second look at it, you see the truck hop to the left, rear end come around to the right, and there was no way he was driving out of that when the front steering ram let go. Now Wesley would come out of the truck under his own power, but he was suffering from some shoulder pain. But the truck suffered extensive damage to its steel body and glass windshield. A lot of work would have to go in to getting the Warhorse back on the track. It was freestyle time at Radford. All 6 new machines came out, and every single one of them took on the bus jump. A lot of speed and a lot of air in this freestyle. As we said, Vinny Venom and Snakebite carried the momentum from racing right into freestyle. He was the only one to take on the bus jump twice, and it paid off big time for him, taking a racing victory and a freestyle victory. Vinny Venom comes out to the cheers of a sold-out crowd at the last season that he would be behind the wheel of this truck, and one of the last times we will see a Speedway proper on this facility at the Motor Mile Speedway. Now from there, we made our first of 2 stops over on the DELMAR as Zane Ratu and Monster Events brought the Monster Truck Summer Meltdown Tour to the Delaware State Fairgrounds in Harrington. Pretty incredible night, and there were some interesting stories coming into this one we'll tell you about as we get to them. First up in the wheelie competition, so our first look at General Hazard and Ty Cornelius Jr. out of Delta, Pennsylvania, and he laid one down to kick things off, standing the truck straight up and down on the green stack. But it was R.J. Turner in the War Wizard trying to turn his luck around after a week earlier having one of the worst racing nights of his life, who would come out and take the wheelie competition victory with these 2 awesome hits. Truck's definitely known for getting the front end up in the air, and this night was no different. All that big drag racing horsepower out of Randy Moore's incredible War Wizard racing machine. Now here was the big story of the night. J.R. SEASOCK came into this event as the driver of Master of Disaster. About 15 or so minutes before showtime, Zane ran over to him and told him to get in the stinger driving so you could take the lead on the track. He drove it all the way to the finals and took this come-from-behind victory over Ryan DISHAROON and the Saigon Shaker. In a career life of ups and downs, this was a proud moment for J.R. SEASOCK. Second vehicle we've seen him in, and one of many that he's been able to drive in a relatively short career, and you can see how happy he was when he popped out to this packed house. Now, unfortunately, the truck did not make it very long in freestyle with some mechanical issues, but he was able to lay down some shots, as were all 6 of the team machines before the night was over. DISHAROON back on the track. He had a pretty good summer. We were there for 2 of the events that he was able to show his wear on, and it was right here in Harrington, Delaware, not too far from home, that Ryan DISHAROON was able to take the Saigon Shaker to a freestyle victory. Marathon run was loaded with big air and wild moments toward the end. Ryan definitely showed an ability to drive. Was not afraid to take on the man stacks backward for a brush car to launch over. He absolutely demolished those. One final move in front of the grandstands, and he puts it on his lid. Ryan DISHAROON, your freestyle champion in Harrington, Delaware. First of a couple of rollovers we saw this season. Not a bad one, though. The truck was all right when they righted it. Flat tire was all they had to worry about. Repairing at the end of that night, maybe a little fiberglass damage. Of course, from there, we headed over to Fredericksburg, Virginia, where the first of two shows we did there got rained out. But the night before, the Vaters Motorsports team was scheduled to appear in Fredericksburg. Preston Perez put the pressure on with this one. First taste of real big air, and he pops off the right front tire. They had to work through the night to get this thing back together and get it back down to Virginia to go here in Fredericksburg. But as I said, that show got rained out. However, they did have the bus ready when they showed up. Now, they had to take their frustrations out on the second day of action. And CORY SNYDER out of Bethesda, Maryland, almost put the Black Stallion machine over on his lid. Remember though, talking about that right front tire on the higher education school bus? It's right where Preston landed it. He did not have one, but two near rollovers in this wheelie competition. CODY and Iron Warrior trying to step things up a little bit, but you knew the guy who was behind all three of them was going to lay one down. It's the second Overkill Evolution. We talked about that summer of dominance starting in Brookville, Pennsylvania. We continued that through Ohio and on into Fredericksburg, Virginia. Win in the wheelie competition, and he would also make it to the finals in racing. Now here's the third place race, and this was a good one. CORY SNYDER, who had started driving the Black Stallion machine in Croton, Ohio. He has been driving the higher education machine as the Monster Mud on the Monster Jam Triple Threat Series. And he matched up with Preston Perez for this third place race. And that mud played havoc with everyone who had to make that turn right there. Second time during the afternoon that we saw Preston all over that second set. But he did make a race of it here at the end. Just slid by for the victory right there. Preston taking third place out of the racing bracket. Just barely beat out CORY SNYDER.
Yeah, I thought I missed the ramp, but I got around it and ended up beating CORY by just a little bit. Used my rear steer quite a bit trying to get that figured out, but hopefully I'll get it down.
Now the final round championship race, Overkill Evolution and Iron Warrior, which, as I said, was a common in 2017. Muddy on one side, Dusty on the other, and it played no favorites. CODY ends up against the freestyle obstacles and the win over to Mikey Vaters and Overkill Evolution. But make no mistake, Mikey was well on his way there. That was going to be close at the end. If Matt hadn't spun out, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, Matt, Cody, and I in the finals. Like you said, a little bit of mud out there. Really had to be cautious in the turn not to spin out, but luckily we came out on top.
Freestyle. Higher education, Preston Perez. Trying to negotiate the mud still, and it was causing him problems throughout his run, but he laid down a pretty incredible run on a less than perfect track. Doing what he can to get that big air, did not want to land it sideways again. Bringing the bus to a sliding stop in front of the grandstands. Cory SNYDER dealt similarly with the mud, and a little more clean on his tire to do so, but that also adds some weight underneath the truck. A little bit harder to get there, but Cory definitely stood in it to get this one up there in front of the crowd in Fredericksburg, Virginia now. That CODY trying to make sure he made a statement before Mikey came out last. He's trying to knock everybody else's run down, and Matt certainly did not disappoint with this freestyle run. But of course, in the end, it was Mikey Vaters II out of Williamsport, Maryland, in the Overkill Evolution machine, who would complete the sweep here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Another sweep for Mikey and Overkill Evolution. Certainly not disappointing on this afternoon in Fredericksburg, Virginia. About how long is it going to take you to get these clean and down the road? Because I know you got to be in New York in less than a week or so.
Yeah, next weekend we have to be up in Little Valley, New York. Probably 6 hours of good cleaning time and doing whatever routine maintenance we have through the week to get the truck ready for next weekend.
Well, Mikey mentioned Little Valley. That was our next stop. Headed up to New York for our first show in August. And once again, Friday night was rained out just like the week before. But Saturday afternoon went off without a hitch. Great reception from a warm crowd, and big air was the order of the day. And EJ would take the wheelie competition victory with this run. Now, semi-final round, Stratman got a bye into the second round because of that wheelie win with Bigfoot, meaning he didn't have to make a first-round run. That may have put him at a disadvantage here. He spun out coming around the first corner. Brad Allen, with a less than perfect run, was able to parlay that into a lead. But it was on the final leg where things got really interesting for AJ Stratman. Open to the left, you can see from the shaky camera, we weren't positive he was going to stop. A rather sudden change in direction for Bigfoot. Pitched off to the right, did some damage to the third member that would put him out of competition. That blown tire was the least of his problems on this day in New York. Final round. That win over Bigfoot got Brad Allen into the championship race. We would have to take on none other than Mikey Vaters and the Overkill Evolution. Teammates or teams scream, the dominance continues. Another win for Mikey right there. He spins it to a stop. Obviously, he would not sweep this show, but wanted to take a freestyle victory. Now, here was an interesting story. Freshman Perez out of Spokane, Washington. You saw him in higher education a week before. Well, that chassis was booked at another show, so the crew had to get together and figure out how to get this body onto Mike Vaters' chassis and how to fit Preston into a little bit bigger seat. Of course, Preston made short work of the track, put on an excellent freestyle in front of the crowd in Little Valley, but it was this run right here that turned things up. Mikey Vaters in Overkill Evolution knew he had Mr. Excitement, team leader, Team Scream, Jim KOEHLER behind him, and he had to put on a good run here. A little bit onto the midway, slid it to a stop, but as you can see from that leap right there, Jim KOEHLER out of Columbus, Michigan was not about to let Mikey Vaters take the accolades out of freestyle. He had a rough afternoon. No one was happy about missing that first show. Certainly not Jim KOEHLER. Apart and all from the best cyclones we saw all season long, some of the biggest air we saw all season long, with the freestyle victory in hand. Jim KOEHLER could not leave Little Valley without saying a few last words.
Hey, you guys, my first time here down in Little Valley. You guys are awesome. You know, I got rained out yesterday and we were bummed out because we wanted to run hard yesterday. And we knew you guys would come back. Jay told me these stands would fill, and I'm like, no, man, there was only a couple people here yesterday. You guys came out in droves. You're awesome. We love you guys. Come back and see us again next year. Yeah!
Not the last time we would see a Team Scream machine in 2017, but probably the last time we would see one with that much fanfare surrounding it. Now, we did not make this event either. This was 3 days after Little Valley. That July to August schedule was a little bit tight, but Tim Howard and JM Motorsports decided to put together a rather interesting obstacle, this block wall, so that Mikey Vaters could do this. Took the grill out, didn't matter, landed the backflip and continued right on doing freestyle. He would take the freestyle victory, no doubt with that move. Championship for Mikey Vaters and Overkill. From there, we made an impromptu stop in Martinsburg, West Virginia, only about 20 miles down the road from our location, so we weren't going to say no to that, but the rain hit us again. Turned this track into a mud pit about an hour before showtime. Keep on schedule. There wasn't a whole lot they could do about the pools of water on top of the soft clay. Brandon Budd taking the wheelie competition victory there, and then a little bit of a high side as he rounded the first corner on his way to a time trial victory on the first of 3 shows where we would see the same field of Buckshot, Equalizer, and Hot Tamale battling each other for an overall win. Big Bad Hummer out of Culpeper, Virginia, taking a second win there. Then a donut competition, Brandon Budd. And again, throwing mud all over the Berkeley County Youth Fair. See everybody at the cotton candy vendor turned around looking at that one. Beautiful SAIGON in the mud. Freestyle, though, would get a little bit interesting as the mud plate havoc gets stuck on the van stack on that go-around. He was able to get the best air of all the trucks that competed in the freestyle. Richie YATSKO, unfortunately, with damage and hot tamale, but it was right here. Brandon put the truck on its side just a little bit too early. And that opened the door for Joey YATSKO to put on this marathon freestyle. I think this thing may have gone on for about 6 or 7 minutes as he absolutely burned EQUALIZER to the ground in front of the Berkeley County fans. Rough night for the team out of Catlett, Virginia, and this was their first look at a real victory on this night. Body coming apart, steam off the hot edge, cold mud hits the headers. Joey tried just about anything to get the crowd on their feet as he could not get any traction on this mud. He would wind the freestyle up right here in front of the grandstands. Joey YATSKO winning himself a freestyle in Berkeley County, West Virginia. And we headed over to Delaware for our second stop on the DELMAR as the summer went on, and Ryan DISHAROON taking the donut victory here, throwing mud all over. He's open our camera operator on the ground for the night. Now, again, even though you don't see it, the weather played havoc with this show as well. This was supposed to be a semifinal round race. It ended up being the last race of the night, so here was where we drew our champion. Ryan DISHAROON in the SAIGON Shaker misses his second ramp, but he still raced Brian Wright all the way to the end. Wright taking an honest victory and crossing the finish line first in Hook. Like I said, you don't see it here, no rain in the picture, but a huge storm coming in off the Atlantic was threatening to shut the show down, and they wanted to make sure these fans got their money's worth. Shortening racing so we could get to a wild freestyle was the way to go on this night in DELMAR, Delaware. And it was Ryan DISHAROON laying this one down to take another freestyle victory in 2017. Manassas in front of the camera, huge air off of the van jump, and Ryan DISHAROON would take the freestyle victory in front of his hometown crowd in Delmar, Delaware. Then it was on to Manassas, Virginia, the continuation of this three-way battle, 3 for 3, equalizer, Mike Hawkins out of Catlin, Virginia, taking a wheelie competition victory right here near home in the equalizer. He would follow that up with this run in the time trials. You can see the weather moved in on us again. There's no filter on this lens. That is what color it was there at the fairgrounds in Manassas on this night. Narrow straightaway, and Hawkins was able to lay down the fast time of 14.42 here on night number 1 and take that time trial victory over Brandon Budd and Buckshot and Richie YATSKO and Hot Tamale. Now, Brandon Budd was only able to get to the starting line in round number 1. He broke the input shaft on the first night. He was not able to freestyle, so it was between Richie YATSKO and Hot Tamale and Mike Hawkins in the equalizer, and right there, you saw a throttle hang open, you saw a fuel valve go away, and you saw a whole lot of damage underneath the equalizer that had to be repaired in less than 24 hours because the next night they were right back at it. All 3 of those trucks had to undergo some repair work before they could hit the track. But it was Brandon Budd and Buckshot who brought the big Hummer out to take the first round wheelie competition victory. Richie YATSKO also made up for his troubles on night 1 with a round 2 wheelie competition victory. But it was once again Mike Hawkins in the equalizer, laying down the fast time this time, though in round number 1. In round number 2 of time trials, he would get into the outer guardrail in front of the midway. 1585, not quite as fast as he was on the first night, but there was a little bit more moisture in the track, and that was causing him some problems. Now, Brandon Budd brought out the Buckshot to finally lay down a freestyle in front of the fans of Manassas. Budd taking the championship at Manassas Day 2. He also had the most wins on that 3-truck tour through West Virginia and on into Manassas, Virginia. And from there, we would begin our march toward autumn. Tough truck racing takes all kinds, but the ones who shine the brightest are often those who get the dirtiest. There are no superstars in this arena, just a whole lot of heavy right feet.
Ryan
Final show of the summer, and it was a cold and rainy evening in Woodstock, Virginia. 100th anniversary for this fair and the final monster invasion of 2017. Cory SNYDER jumping in this higher education cool bus out of Bethesda, Maryland, and he put it easily over on its side. Wet track made it a little bit hard to drive out of that one. Matt Cody, though, the Iron Warrior, got himself a wheelie competition victory, standing that one up honest. See the bed side starting to come off, but remember we talked about the summer of dominance. Overkill Evolution, once again, up against Iron Warrior in the final round. Trying to keep the moisture down, throwing sawdust everywhere, and Mikey made quick work of Matt Cody in that one. Matt having trouble again on the final corner and having some transmission problems we would later find out on this night in Woodstock, Virginia. As the rain came down, we moved on to freestyle. Once again, we talked about that sawdust, trying to keep the moisture out of the track. It did help just a bit. Mikey Vaters laid down the best freestyle of the night to take 2 of the 3 competitions here in Woodstock, Virginia. Standing on the nose just a little bit as he came to a stop, he would clinch the Vaters Motorsports Summer Tour overall, and he would take that momentum through the end of the summer on into the autumn months.
1, 2, 3.
After a little less than a month off the road, we would conclude our racing season in Durham, Connecticut, in a beautiful day at the start of autumn. After all the wind and rain of the summer, there's Austin Minton out of Tonganoxie, Kansas. Unfortunately, that run would cost him his rear steering. Now, this is a best trick competition, not a wheelie competition, so you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's a 2-hit mini freestyle. There you see Mike Christensen out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, with that huge wheel stand over the center stack. Tim Howard putting some steep jumps on this track. Now, again, summer of dominance, on into maybe an autumn of dominance. Here comes Mikey Vaters. You're on board with Overkill Evolution. Now Mikey would find himself in the final round, matched up against, of all people, Matt Cody, this time in the higher education cool bus, and the bus was not the only difference we would find in this championship race. Trouble in the first corner for Overkill Evolution put Matt Cody in the lead. How they took the final corner would be the deciding factor. Matt Cody was more consistent. Advantage, higher education, and Matt Cody celebrated this one.
I guess it seemed to work out there for me. I landed and seen I was ahead of Mikey and kept on laying it down. So we got him for once. and see if we can go into freestyle and take that too.
Of course, on into freestyle. Everybody was laying down their best shot. Mikey Vaters wanted to one him up for that racing loss. This was some of the biggest air and some of the wildest freestyling in one of the smallest facilities we saw during 2017. Mike Christensen almost put the Iron Outlaw over on his top with an incredible save. Mikey knew he was going to have to go some to try to win this one, and he laid down a sensational freestyle, maybe the best of our tour. Past the booth and one last signature spin in front of the cameras here. Kept himself in the picture all season long and definitely made himself one of the big stories on the 2017 season of Monster Power. Mike Vaters ending up that summer of dominance at the beginning of autumn. We want to thank everyone who helped us out. This season on Monster Power 2017 has been very, very good to us. We hope to see you in 2018.